Wandy Peralta struck out a batter in 20 seconds.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees. I'm your host, Stacey Gotsoulias. As always, Locked On Yankees is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook, official sportsbook of Locked On. Make every moment more. Visit fanduel.com/lockedon today to get started. With me, as always, my producer, Steve Granado.
Yo, what's up, Stacey? We got to talk about this Wandy Peralta thing. It's blowing up the internet.
It really is.
Blowing up the internet.
It almost broke it.
It was all over my feed. Today, we're going to talk about a bunch of things. We asked for questions from you folks, answering questions about Gleyber Torres, Deivi Garcia, some catching updates. But let's talk about this Wandy thing. I wasn't going to put it in the show rundown because I was like, okay, whatever, it's cute. But then it was like multiple times kept popping up on my feed, on Twitter, on Insta, like everything kept popping up. I think you saw a couple TikToks about it, like popped up in my alg.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on this 20-second strikeout? This is dumb, obviously, but wow.
Yeah, that was I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. Really. It was a blink and you miss it kind of a thing because, 20 seconds is how long the pitch clock is in order for someone to do their thing, get to the mound, whatever. And he struck this guy out on 3 pitches in 20 seconds. It was so quick. Now, I know Wandy likes to do some funny things and he likes to be quick, but that was just otherworldly. It was hilarious. Plus, I think he could get away with it with a guy from the Pirates who maybe not that experienced with playing at the higher level. I don't think he would do something like that to someone like Vlad Jr., but this was, that was really, really funny. And it's all over the place, like different people from different accounts. Like I even saw a non-baseball person posted in my Twitter, which I thought was the funniest thing ever, because when a non-baseball person posts something about baseball, you know that everyone's talking about it.
It broke through, right? Like the only things that break through are like the Nick Castellanos meme, like that breaks through. I know that the another like popular, I keep seeing this on TikTok recently. I think this is popping off again. It's kind of making the rounds. Is the Bautista bat flip? The sound of that, like the call from Ernie Johnson, is popping off again. The strikeout, by the way, which we can't show on our YouTube side, but I'll link it in the episode description. And of course, if you're on the audio side, you can click that as well. Final batter of the second inning. 3 pitches on Tucupita Marcano, who got the call to the show last year with the Pirates. But yeah, I mean, I don't have a grander, point to make here.
Right.
I'm just like, this happened. And I think it's just more that everybody's talking about it. So remember, a couple days ago, just a few scant hours ago, what were we talking about? The damn pitch clock.
Right.
And how everyone's going to be everyone's so mad about this. And look what happened.
Yeah.
And what did I say, Stacey? Yeah. What did I say about next week? Next week, we won't be talking about it.
Yeah.
Do you feel the tides changing already?
Oh, I do. I definitely do. Yeah. And I can feel it watching the games now on Yes. It's like, wow, this is so much quicker and it's so much better. And people are going to love this so much better. Yeah.
I rest my case.
Yeah.
I'm glad that this is happening as quick as I knew it would. And everyone is loving it. We get the bad of it or whatever, right? With the final strike 3 call and the game bases loaded and everyone's losing their minds. But here we are, just a few days later, and everyone's like, "This is great."
Yeah. I love Peralta. I knew about him before he came to the Yankees, but watching him has been a pleasure. And we said it the other day when we were talking about options for closer or trying to figure out where to put guys in the bullpen. And he, wherever Boone asks him to go, he goes. And he's just a lot of fun when he's on and when he, has not even a clean inning. Sometimes he just gets a lot of guys to ground out, but that sort of thing, striking someone out on 3 pitches in 20 seconds is amazing. So good for Wandy Peralta. The other thing I will say about Wandy Peralta is for some reason I thought he was a lot older than he is, and he's only 31. Nothing against him. I just feel like he carries himself as an older player, if that makes any sense. Like, I thought he was more like 34, 35, and I saw in the Post article that he's 31. And I was like, oh, okay. I don't know how old anyone is anymore. So the next thing we need to talk about, what's going on with the Yankee catchers? Not the main ones, thankfully. Higashioka and Trevino are okay, but all of the possible maybe third string catcher that could be a backup if something happens to Trevino and Higashioka, they're dropping like flies, and I don't understand what's happening. The newest thing is Josh Breaux has an elbow injury. He won't throw for a few weeks. The Ben Rortvedt thing, he had an aneurysm that they had to clear out. And then Austin Wells also hurt his ribs, and he's going to be out for a while. So I don't know what's happening. It's kind of scary.
It is. Got to see Josh Breaux and Ben Rortvedt last year. I liked Breaux a lot. Nice guy. Super cute golden retriever he has. Great, cute dog. It was like a puppy last year, a couple months old. It was on the road with him all the time. Very cute dog. Best thing about Josh Breaux is his dog. Yeah, no, they're dropping flies. And so this tweet coming from Brian Hoke is saying that they think the depth is okay right now. Getting a conflicting report. This is coming from MLB Trade Rumors. The Yankees are looking to bring in some extra catching depth, according to Eric Boland of Newsday. The club's primary backstock last year were Trevino and Higgy. Both those players are still with the team this year and are healthy. However, the depth options below the tandem are banged up recently, and that's what we're detailing here. We were talking about Florial on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
Do they make a move for a catcher? Do they throw in Flo to try and get a third string catcher, or are they just gonna wait it out, hope that everybody stays okay? If Higgy goes down, or God forbid Trevino goes down,
right,
then they have a serious problem.
Yeah. I know some people were wondering about guys like one of my friends suggested Gary Sanchez, and I also joked on Twitter. I said, well, I know a guy who could back up if they need it, who's already experienced playing in New York, so maybe. But I don't know.
Gary Sanchez is a free agent right now. This article also floated the possibility of a potential reunion with Rob Brantley, who's on a minor league deal with Toronto. And Brantley was with the Rail Riders last season, had an insane call-up day where he had to drive from Worcester all the way to New York, got there, hadn't eaten all day. It was a whole nightmare and a doubleheader. But love Rob Brantley, by the way.
Yeah. That's, oh God, a drive from Worcester all the way down to, that's not fun, to Yankee Stadium.
Here's more fun on that before we dive into that, by the way. Rob Brantley, so we're in Worcester. His family was traveling with him at the time, so his wife and 2 kids. They hop in the car, didn't eat breakfast that day because he saw the spread and was like, no, I'm good. It was a day game in Worcester. And then hops in the car. They all drive. I forget who else was in the car with them. Somebody else has a pitcher that went with them. Brantley's, one of his kids, he has a son and a daughter. One of his kids got sick while driving. They did not have enough time to pull over. Kid threw up in the car.
Oh, no.
But wife saved the day, got the bag, boom, into the bag, wrap it up. We're still moving. So,
oh, my goodness.
I love Rob Brantley. Nicest guy on the planet. I would love for him to come back into the system. But, I mean, he's with Toronto. We saw him play on the Saturday, the first game of spring training. We saw him play. But I don't know. Would you, again, to go back to the actual question, do you think the Yankees need to make a move at catcher?
Ugh. I don't think they have to yet. I really don't. But I'm a little worried about the whole Higashioka going to the WBC thing. Only because of past issues with players going to the WBC, and especially now with all those guys down. But I don't think so yet. I think they'll be okay. But I don't know. They might have to at some point because, if these 3 guys are more hurt than initially thought, and they're going to be out longer, they're going to need someone. I know people were joking about IKF going back to catching because the Yankees want to put him everywhere. So, hey, I mean, maybe they could put him as the third string catcher if they want to keep him on the team. So who knows? We'll see. Looking for a delicious treat, but don't want all the fat and calories? Then you gotta try a Built Bar. What makes Built Bar so good? Well, for starters, they're covered in 100% real chocolate. That's right, real chocolate. And they come in unbelievably amazing flavors like churro, peanut butter brownie, and coconut almond. And now you don't need to wait around for a box. For years, we've been telling you to order on built.com, and now you can go to your local Walmart or your local Sam's Club. Head to your nearest Walmart today, walk to the pharmacy section, and grab yourself a box of Built Bars. You can pick up a 4-bar box of cookies and cream, double chocolate, or coconut puffs, and you can go into a Sam's Club and pick up a 13-bar box. Unbelievable flavors, and as I said the other day, the cookie dough puff is back. So you can order that from Built.com, and you'll thank me later.
All right, let's go ahead and answer some fan questions, Stace. And if you didn't see this, by the way, and didn't watch our last show, we're going to start doing this regularly. Every Friday, we're going to ask for fan questions. And you guys did not disappoint. We already got a bunch of them coming on our, mostly our YouTube side. As a matter of fact, I think all of them came from YouTube. So here we go. Here's our first question. This is coming from Mr. Darwin over on our YouTube side. Stacey, I'm going to ask you, is it better to trade Gleyber for what would be a fair return and put Volpe at second, or sign Gleyber to an extension and try Volpe at third, or sign Gleyber to an extension and trade Volpe / Peraza, or whatever that would be? Thank you, Mr. Darwin, for the question. Stacey, your thoughts?
Mr. Darwin, how dare you do this to me? I don't like the second or third options. I love Gleyber. Believe me, I love Gleyber, but I really feel like the future is Volpe and Peraza, and I want them both on the team. And if that means trading away Gleyber for a good return, I would go with that. And maybe, Peraza at short, Volpe at second.
Yeah, we did see Volpe Peraza working together for the first time, by the way, on Thursday's spring training game. And Volpe did talk about it, and he was, give comments about it, but it wasn't anything crazy. But they did work together for the first time. They never played together.
Yeah. And Volpe also hit a home run. It was lovely. And
yes.
I like the idea of them playing together. I like Peraza defensively at short. And Volpe, he made a couple plays the other day when we were watching live on Yes at second, and he looks pretty comfortable there. And yeah, I don't see them. I feel like the Yankees have been burned by extensions for some of these guys, and maybe they wouldn't do that for Gleyber. But I love Gleyber. I don't really want to see him go, but I feel like they've held on to these guys for a reason, and you might as well keep them around. Yes. That's my thought with that one.
Second question coming from Danny Wagner on YouTube. Thank you, Danny. Other than Jason and Volpe, who has the best chance to be called up to the team this year? I'm going to start real quick. I do not think Jason Dominguez will be called up this year. No. Don't anticipate that at all. I would be surprised if he even played in Scranton this year.
Right. Right.
So Jason Dominguez not being called up. Volpe, I think, still needs at least a half a season in AAA. At least half a season in AAA. So I wouldn't even put them in that camp. Stacey, my first answer to this, I think Greg Weissert will be a part of the bullpen. I don't know if he necessarily would be calling him up. Like, that doesn't feel like it because he did spend time with the team last September. But I think Greg Weissert's going to be a part of the bullpen. But other candidates you had in your mind?
So my choice for someone who had a good chance of being called up this year, we already mentioned him. I was thinking Austin Wells, and then he got injured. So I was slightly bummed about that. He was actually my number one choice for that because I thought that maybe if Higgy wasn't doing well enough or something else was going on with the catchers, that maybe he would be the one to come up. But yeah, as you said, Dominguez, no. He's not coming up yet. And I agree with you about Volpe. I think that maybe it's possible he could be called up earlier than just the regular call-up time, but it wouldn't be, it'd be somewhere
like
between.
How Peraza was last year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like around that time.
Ahead of him, right?
Yeah.
Peraza's ahead of Volpe. Cabrera's ahead of Peraza. So
yes.
Answer is neither of Volpe or Dominguez, unless there's a trade.
True.
there's a trade.
Which we never know. You never know how
know.
the team's going to do first half. I mean, last year was no one expected that either. So you don't know how things are going to work
Yeah.
out and what's going to happen by the time the trade deadline happens. And
Correct.
that could be the only way those two could come up, is like, especially Dominguez. I don't think we'll see him on the major league level yet.
Thank you again, Danny, for your question. Again, you can always send us tweets at Locked On Yankees. We will start banking them throughout the week, by the way, if you end up sending questions before we ask for them.
Oh, yeah.
Question from ELT in Japan. This will be the last one of this segment, and we have more coming in our final segment today. Question. This will be the last Yankees question, by the way. Have some fun in our last segment for the day. Wrap up the week well. This is actually coming from our Esteban Florial episode that we did. If you didn't watch that or listen to that, go back and listen to yesterday's episode. So isn't Deivi Garcia in the same boat like Esteban Florial? What do you think his chances are of being on the team when spring training is over? Stacy, Deivi Garcia is not in the same boat that Esteban Florial is. Flo is out of minor league options. Deivi has one more. This is coming from the New York Post. To exhaust their minor league options, players must spend at least 90 days on a roster, major or minor league, for 5 seasons. Garcia was not on a minor league roster last season for 90 days. Boy, I have a lot to say about that. So he has that one more option, and they shut him down after a couple of months last season.
Yeah.
He was hurt, but there may have been more there, if I had to guess. But do you think he's going to be have any chance of making the team out of spring? My answer is hard no.
Yeah, I don't think so either. And I feel bad because I feel like the Yankees kind of screwed with him and messed him up a bit there. I'm still not over the whole J-Hap coming into the playoff game to relieve him in the second inning thing. That just... It's almost 3 years now, and I'm still mad about it. And I just feel bad that it kind of... I feel like the Yankees don't do this as much anymore, but I might not be right about this because I feel like they've kind of left that behind a little bit, and they're getting better with the way they treat some of their players. But yeah, I just really feel bad for Deivi Garcia because he just can't get things together. It's just a bummer to watch because
Very
he was
rough.
Exciting to watch that first time that we got a glimpse of him, and it's just been one bad thing after the other for him.
Yeah, very rough last season. Was really struggling to not throw it right down the middle. And the walks were he was just all over the place. Like him as a guy. I think he's a great kid. He's got a good head on his shoulders. He tries to stay upbeat as best he can. But yeah, it's been really rough for Deivi. And I don't know. I don't think he's going to be a Yankee. Just plain and simple. I think a lot has to change for him to have a legitimate shot at being a part of the Yankees.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's not super encouraging. I'm rooting for him, but it's not super encouraging.
Yeah, it's either he has to step up or maybe a disaster happens for the Yankees, which we don't want to see, but that might be the only scenario that allows him to come up. So we just passed the midway point of the NBA season, and now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, because customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's bonus bets back if your first bet doesn't win. Just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. It's safe, secure, and easy to use. Then you can bet on everything from the money line to point scorers and threes drained. We're getting closer and closer to playoffs, so you get to pick who's going to win the conferences. And then once the playoffs get here, I'm going with the Knicks. Call me crazy. Plus, FanDuel even lets you combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout with a same game parlay. So don't miss the chance to get your no sweat first bet up to $1,000 in bonus bets when you go to FanDuel.com/lockedon. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon to learn more. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA.
All right, couple more questions before we get out of here for the weekend, Stace. This one's coming from Ralph Garcia. Should the playoffs be expanded past the wild card rounds to best of 7 series? The best of 5 series seems too watered down, quote, and you get fluke teams making it. Ralph, all respect in the world, no, I do not want 7 games in that first round.
No, it's too long. It'll be
Too much.
like it'll become like the NBA and the NHL where the playoffs last for 2 months.
NHL playoffs are ridiculous. They're too much. They're
It's
too
so
much.
long. It's
It's too long.
unbelievable. Yeah.
I think that's what's great about baseball playoffs is because you get to play them essentially in a week.
Yeah.
That it keeps moving well, and you don't get too tired of any one matchup. I think the format is good. I don't love the added teams, if I'm being frank, but that's here to stay. But no, I don't want.
I was going to ask you about that. How do you feel about the wild card round? I mean, they were something this past year, though. I mean,
they were good. They were good.
Yeah.
But I mean, I loved the one and done game. I really, really liked it. It was super fun. I know that everyone was like, "It's so unfair" and stuff, but I was just like, "It's good entertainment, though."
It's great when your team isn't involved in it, but when your team is in it, it's the absolute worst. I will tell you right now, because I watched the Yankees in it a few times, and it's just, ugh, no, it's too stressful. But I didn't
How do you
mind
feel
the
about
wild
that
card series.
How do you feel about the fluke teams thing that Ralph mentioned? Fluke teams making it. I don't subscribe to that notion either.
No, not a fluke thing, not a fluke team. I feel like fluky things can happen in a 5-game series, and you don't have enough time to recover as you do in a 7. Because I'll just say this quickly. In 2009, when the Yankees matched up with the Angels in the ALCS, my Mets fan coworker was, the Angels are going to beat them. It's going to be the same as 2005 and 2002. And I said, no, it's not. It's a 7-game series. I said, the Yankees are winning in 6. And he, laughed at me. And what did I say? In 6, and the Yankees won in 6, because it's not fluke teams, but flukier things can happen in a 5, and the team in which the fluky things happen to can't really recover in a 5-game series. I mean, those things turn around in a second, where 7 games you can kind of recover a bit and you have time to make up for it. So
Yes.
yeah. Not to bring up the Angels.
Yes,
I
as we detailed
apologize.
before, Angels fan growing up. And thanks. That's one of the worst series of my life. Okay, last question. Last one for the day, and we'll let you guys go for the weekend. This is also coming from Mr. Darwin, checking in twice. And I thought this was the perfect way to end the week. For fun, where would you add 2 expansion teams? What would you name them, and what would their uniforms be? I will take the first answer, Stacy, if I will.
Mm-hmm.
Men first. Mexico City, baby. I want a team in Mexico so bad. I would want it logistically somewhere further north, just because a travel would be pretty unfair for a team in Mexico City. It's pretty
Yeah.
far
Oh, yeah.
south.
That's a lot for them.
It's like a 6-hour flight from LAX.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So that's a long way to go, because you have to travel every series. There's no commuters in that bad boy, even San Diego. So maybe somewhere in the north. Maybe somewhere like the West Coast, add them to the AL or NL West. Maybe have like a beach team somewhere in like Mazatlan or something like that, and make it like super beachy and kind of like that kind of vibe. But Mexico City would be awesome. And I mean, red and green, obviously uniforms, red, green, white have to be the Mexican flag. Team name, I don't know.
Names are hard to come up with.
Yeah. Selfishly, I would want it to be something a little more indigenous involved, respectfully. I don't know. Maybe like the Aztecs or something could be cool.
Right. That could work.
Like Mexico City Aztecs. I'm down with that. Oh,
Yeah.
actually, I just that's on the spot, and I actually really like that. Mexico City Aztecs would be dope. That'd be super dope. And have like the pyramid kind of.
Sure.
working in there.
That's exactly what I was thinking. That would be really cool.
It's a good idea. I'm gonna actually I'm gonna cut that out, and I'm gonna save that for myself. I'm gonna pitch that to Major League Baseball. Anyway, Stacy, your last answer for the week.
I would add a team to. I really want to see Portland get a team.
Okay, go Pickles.
Yeah, like the Portland Pickles. Yeah, I think that would be great. I know that there'd be an issue there may be an issue because of Seattle. They might not want someone that close to them. But I think that could be really cool for I don't know where I'd put them. Probably the AL West, right? I don't know. But,
probably
my brothers.
NL West. I would imagine NL West, because you have the AL West team in Seattle already.
That's true. Yeah, That would actually work. Because my brother came up with an expansion team for Portland and Nashville, and he called them the Nashville Stars, and he had them in the South because he's getting rid of leagues and just doing divisions. And he's also adding the Expos back in because the Rays go away. They become the Expos. It's a whole thing. So, yeah.
I was thinking somewhere north of the border, too. I thought you would pick something north of the border, but either way.
Yeah, well, there's already Toronto.
Yeah, I think Canada needs one more team.
No, they really do. Yeah, because people were talking about how I saw a tweet about how many people watch the Blue Jays broadcast. I'm like, they're the only MLB team in Canada, so that's why everyone's watching.
I think Vancouver could make a case too.
Actually, yes, I was thinking of them too. Yeah, like if you were going to do
Canadians.
Canada, it would have to be either Vancouver or go back to Montreal. Yeah.
Anyway, Mr. Darwin, great question. Super fun.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll explore that later on, a little bit more, expand on that. But thank you for your question.
Yeah.
Again, you can always send your questions in, and we'll try to end it on a fun note every Friday. So that was fun.
Yeah, that was fun. Next week, can Aaron Judge repeat his MVP season? Subscribe to our YouTube. We're doing 2K by opening day. Should be fun. So thank you for making Locked On Yankees your first listen. Now for your second listen, check out Locked On Fantasy Baseball. Win your league by listening to Matt and Dom every day as they bring you the best fantasy draft strategies. Find Locked On Fantasy Baseball wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.